about 5:20 a.m. and it's an hour and a half before low tide. So tide's going out, and if you look over there at the end of the pipe, you'll see those waves crashing. They'll crash for maybe 20-30 feet, and then they'll reform back into a wave. They'll roll all the way through and then crash again on the shore. That's a sign of a trough. So you have an outer sandbar out there, and that bar is causing those waves to crash. So what's happening is when that bar comes back into deeper water, there's a ledge there that's going to go from shallow to deep, and those waves are picking up all that little bait, all those crabs and sand fleas and such, and they're taking them and they're going to come crashing over that ledge where the fluke are just going to sit. They just sit right at the bottom of that ledge and wait for the opportunity to crush a bait. So I'm going to cast right out onto that ledge and try to work this ledge coming over. I'll go onto that bar, see if I can catch it as it drops off and fades into that deeper water. You can really get good distance with this rig, that's why I like it. But you know, if I put on that 6-inch jerk shad, I like fishing with a larger profile, but you just don't get the distance, and the jerk shad kind of, you try to whip that thing out about 8-10 times, that jerk shad, it kind of tears a little bit. And you know, those things are like $1.80 nowadays, so you got to be sparing with your jerk shad. There we go. Small. There we go. One of the reasons I started doing this channel was I was listening to some guy. This is small. I was listening to some guy say he went down to the beach and he caught one fish when he first got there, and then he couldn't buy a bite for like another 2 hours. And it's like, man, if you're fishing in New Jersey in the summertime for fluke, I mean, you can catch them any time of day. Calm down, big guy. You can catch them any time of day. There's so many fluke. This guy messed me up. If you're fishing in the wrong spot, if you're not catching fish, you're just fishing in the wrong spot. That's all there is to it. And you can catch, usually within, in New Jersey, a beach, 2 beaches, you can find a spot. A lot of guys will go to the same beach and they'll sit down, and they like to go there because that's where their wife likes to go, or it's close to the bathroom or whatever. But fluke, man, fluke are all over the place. So I dropped that jerk shad, or whatever it was, swim and mullet. If you're fishing in New Jersey in the summertime, you should be catching fish. And if you're not, I mean, all it takes is a little bit of knowledge, a little bit of education, and you can catch fish. I mean, it's not rocket science. Just a little bit of knowledge can get you on fish. That's why I wanted to make these videos, because fluking's easy for the most part, at least from the surf. If you find good structure, they're going to be there, and all you got to do is figure out how to fish the structure that you find. These rocks that are here, at high tide, those rocks are loaded with good-sized fluke. But for some reason at low, they just it's a little too shallow over there, right at the tip there. So there's not a lot of fish in there. But I fish those rocks at high, and you can pull them out of there. But the trough, the ledges, that's what you want to find. I mean, that's what guys are doing in the river in boats. They're fishing channel edges. This is basically just a channel edge, but on the beach. This is kind of like a V-shaped, kind of arches out. So it doesn't really go far. It doesn't go to those rocks. It stays about maybe 50 feet before those rocks. So this whole trough might be 400 feet long. And it's probably a good 100 feet out to the end of this, to the bar here, to the end of the trough from the beach. And over there, it might be 60 feet. Don't just sit around on these spots. There we go. See, now I moved down the beach. It's about 50 feet. I'll see how the fishing is here. A lot of small ones today. All right, so all right, I went back to the half-ounce bucktail. I got to tip it with the 6-inch jerk shad. I'm not looking for distance here like I was at the other spot, so I'm okay with using the jerk shad, and hopefully with the larger profile bait we get into some bigger fish instead of all those shorts. Basically going to try to do the same thing that I was doing over there. As you see this current washing over here, it's coming over the rocks, it's coming from over there. Hopefully it's picking up all those sand fleas and whatnot and coming over in here, and hopefully I'll catch a bunch of fish right in this area. So let's give it a shot. The current's going to do a lot of the work for me, so I don't need to work the jig too much. I'm not really reeling too much. I'm just going to let the current naturally take it around. It'll bring it from right to left. There's a fish. Not very big, but same thing, keep going. Couple little twitches. There we go. A little bit better. A little bit of drag. Oh, that's a nice fish. That might even measure out. Larger profile, larger fish. I know from this little notch right there at the tail to the end, let's see, I bet you we're going to be about 17 and 3/4. Let's see. In New Jersey, it's got to be 18. You're allowed 3 fish at 18. So we'll measure it out, see what happens. He's right there, 17 and 1/4 maybe. Off to live another day. This is that new Saltex 2, so I'm not too worried about getting some sand or some water on it. Good, big guy. There you go. Man, I pulled that one. I thought I had a snag. I didn't even set this hook. Hopefully he doesn't get off. There's a lot of hooks, a lot of snags over here. A lot of rocks. This might end up being a nice fish. It's hard to tell. Yeah, that's nice. 8. All right, buddy. It's a nice fish. He was right in those rocks too. Oh, he's probably going to be it. Let's see. Sometimes I like to lay it down. This thing is beating me up, man. I think that's going to be 18. Pull it tight. 0. Woo, 17 and a half. Look at that. $17 and a half. My man's one good snack away from being a keeper. I'm gonna see if I can work that.